Welcome to Four One Nosh, a podcast. I'm chatting in the podcast studios at Buckeye Broadband today with Rebecca Singer, the president and CEO of CIFT, CIFT, right, Rebecca?
That is correct.
And it used to be Center for Innovative Food Technologies, but now it's just known as CIFT, kind of like when American Movie Classics became AMC and just said, hey, we're just AMC. Doesn't stand for anything.
That's correct. In large part just because we've expanded our expertise beyond just the food spectrum. So it's nice to be able to encompass that more so by having us into the Schroeder name with CIFT.
And it's also the Northwest Ohio Cooperative Kitchen, which is known as NOCK. That one we are still using the actual spelled out version.
We are. That's our signature program for entrepreneurs and developing new food businesses. So we're pretty proud of that program and continue to try to elevate that within the region and the state.
It is a really cool creative spot. I've been down there a few times. We've done some stuff with you in the past, and we'll touch on NOCK a little bit later, NOCK down there in Bowling Green. But first, a little overview of CIFT in general. You guys, your office is located in Toledo off Airport Highway, but CIFT encompasses all of Ohio. Tell me about CIFT and what you guys do for the community, the food community and technology community here in Ohio.
CIFT is actually a private nonprofit organization, and we have been in existence for over 25 years, very proudly serving the food and agricultural sectors of our industry in the state of Ohio. And that's really where our primary expertise resides. And we really try to offer a number of different resources to any type of food business that's already in operation. And then we do some things that we'll talk about with some of our startups. But beyond that, we're also part of the Ohio Manufacturing Extension Partnership. And there's 6 regional partners that develop that program for the state. And as such, we work with any type of manufacturer in the 18 counties of Northwest Ohio. So really, we're getting into every kind of avenue. If there's a product that's being made and it touches our lives, we might be in there talking to them in Northwest Ohio. So it's a real exciting opportunity for us to expand our food knowledge, but there's also some nice overlap. Northwest Ohio has a lot of packaging companies, for instance, and they service some of our food processors. So it's a real complete circle in what we're able to accommodate, and we just deliver services accordingly to our audience.
How does what you do affect maybe someone like me who's not in agriculture? I don't own a food business. I like going to restaurants. Obviously, I get groceries and things like that. So how does it affect the average day-to-day person, consumer, on a day-to-day basis?
Well, we're proud to be able to say that by helping our food processors be more efficient and effective, that is hopefully going to continue to monitor price increases from the food perspective. It also gives us the opportunity to bring new technology to those processors that might lead to less preservatives in foods and cleaner labels and a shorter supply chain where we're supporting more of that locally generated produce and we're putting that into our immediate food system. So really all of those things that we're doing behind the scenes do directly impact a consumer. It's just not probably recognized. And until I started doing this job, I had no idea we had so many food processors in the state of Ohio. So we're very, very fortunate that we have over 1,300 of them, many of whom are large name companies that you have in your pantry right now and just don't even realize that by purchasing those items, you're supporting jobs in the state of Ohio.
And that's really what it comes down to, is helping the residents in the businesses in Ohio.
It truly is. There's over 75,000 people employed in the food sector. And so that's a significant contribution to our local economies. And it really does bring it home more. I think we saw a lot of desire to make sure you have some connectivity to where your food comes from. And the fact that we have that many businesses employing that many people and they're in locations you're driving by every single day, it really should bring a little sense of security to the fact that we do have that here. We need to continue to improve upon it. We've seen some challenges with distribution and trying to get some of the smaller businesses up and going faster and stronger. But overall, I think we can be really proud of the fact that there's so much activity taking place in an industry that oftentimes gets overlooked. Most people just take it for granted that when they go in the grocery store, they're going to be able to buy whatever they want. And that does not just happen. There is a lot behind the scenes that makes that work. And we need to continue to bring resources to the people that are really driving this and helping us to improve so that we are more efficient and effective overall.
How long's CIFT been around?
We have been in existence for over 25 years.
Can you get into details maybe on some of the ways that you guys have been innovative in that 25 years?
Really, one of our signature things has always been around advancing technology. And a lot of people kind of cringe a little bit when you say technology and food in the same sentence. But there's so many things that are happening that really end up benefiting the industry overall. So as an example to the technology component, high pressure processing is something that was being used in other industries. And it wasn't until probably 20 years ago that really started to take a turn where it was applicable to the food sector. And all that really is actually applying a significant amount of cold water at 86,000 PSI to a packaged product. And it kills any potential microorganisms that may have been in that particular item. So it gives us the opportunity to use that pressure to kill those microorganisms rather than preservatives and other types of techniques that ultimately impact the quality and the flavor profile. So it's a very positive thing because it ends up providing that clean label that I mentioned already, and it gives us a longer shelf life. So then we're in turn reducing food waste, which also means that we're spending less money by trying to go back and repurchase these items all the time. Food waste is a significant issue right now. So anything we can do to help elongate that quality of that product is going to be a positive thing, and that's what that particular technology enables us to do.
I love that. And that pops in my head every time I go to the grocery store because I'm like, man, I wonder how much of this is just going to be thrown out.
So another example of that is we are leading a charge that's called the Sustainable Food Packaging Initiative, which is actually looking at changing how we're packaging food so that it will in turn increase our shelf life. We have one particular company that has a technology that would extend the life of bread packaging. I mean, how much bread do you end up throwing away on a regular basis? And they think they can use that technology to also go into those clamshells for produce. And whenever you can start to bring that type of technology to the table and really apply it to different elements of the industry, I think we're going to see continued improvements around price points and food waste.
You also have podcasts and videos and things like that, really well-made videos and podcasts that I found very interesting because this is, kind of little, I go to restaurants and I try food, but this kind of technology and everything like that and this information is a little over my head and I have to really absorb it over and over again to completely grasp everything that you're talking about. So those podcasts really help. I listened to them and the videos and I was like, wow, that's really amazing. The things that are going on that we don't see, beyond products that are on a shelf.
One of the things we pride ourselves in more in the last few years is trying to serve as the voice for the industry. And there are so many stories to tell on what's going on that people just don't have that exposure to. And it's fascinating. Every time we do a podcast or a video, people are like, I had no idea that was possible. Whether it's 3D printing of food products or it's insects that people are consuming in a different way. You never want to wrap your head around some of that, but it's very insightful on seeing what the future might hold. But then at the same time, it dials it back and we can showcase the fact that women are taking a significant lead in this industry, which has not typically happened. And we can tell those stories and we can talk about those entrepreneurs that have actually outgrown the facility we have and have their own operation now, which is exactly what we want to see happen, and really kind of give those, champions so that people can really maybe see themselves in that same kind of light and build enthusiasm.
Something else that offers opportunities in the Northwest Ohio Cooperative Kitchen in Bowling Green, also known as the NOCK. This is a really cool place. I've been there a few times. I've collaborated with you guys on a couple of projects that you've done there. But this is where small, food entrepreneurs, people like the Mustard Man or Willie Salsa, they've come down there and they've had a place where they can actually, build their business. Talk a little bit about that and the opportunities you've offered there. Not just in a physical space where they can, bring their food in, but also an educational platform, maybe as how these entrepreneurs who might not have business knowledge can gain that from you guys and succeed in their small business.
Yeah, we're very fortunate and proud of the fact that we have the Northwest Ohio Cooperative Kitchen. It's been in existence for over 20 years now, which I cannot believe. Time has flown on that. But it is really a holistic approach to helping anyone that might have a recipe that's been passed down from generation to generation, or someone just has this inspired product that they want to get out. Most everyone comes to us and says, I make this for my friends and family, and everybody loves it and says I should make a business. We hear that literally from almost every person, and that's exciting, but it also means they need to have some reality check a little bit.
Sure.
It's not an easy thing. There's a lot of regulations. There's a lot of things you have to consider, and we've tried to really make sure that we go through all of those details so people go in eyes wide open on what it's going to be before they invest their savings into a concept that maybe they haven't completely considered, whether it's from the marketing perspective or price point or just how to actually scale up that recipe from your stovetop into a larger quantity from a production standpoint. So it's a really nice opportunity for people to come. We provide all the technical assistance necessary. And then we encourage people to work with our local small business development chambers and other counselors that kind of can help you really think through your business piece. But when you come back and we are able to sit down and get you to the point where you have a label that's been approved and you have a product that's been tested and you have a process that's been validated, you can choose then to move forward and actually process in our facility, which in the last year, we've actually taken that to another level and added a tremendous amount of automation. So at the NOCK, you are actually in a small scale food processing environment. You are no longer just in a kitchen or even a commercial kitchen. You are at a true location that is going to keep you as effective and efficient in making your product really magically happen. And it is interesting because some people just want to make it and sell it at a farmer's market, and that's perfectly fine. Mm-hmm. Or they want to have aspirations of being in every Kroger store across the country, and that is possible. We've had those that have been able to make that dream become a reality. It really is the opportunity to meet you at where you want to go and maybe help you decide which way is best. And that growth path is some of the additional wraparound services that are available. So it's connecting you to buyers. It's talking about what the process is to work for a distributor. It's saying, here's what you need to know before you actually are going to be accepted into a grocery store. So it's that comprehensive knowledge base that I think from what we hear from all the companies that have went through this process and have products out there, it would have taken them far longer to try to navigate that and find it on the web and ask all the questions and understand it. So we continue to try to just improve the information sharing and find as much insights that are going to help people kind of expedite their vision faster. And then probably the most organic benefit that's happened is how the entrepreneurs work well together. Mm-hmm. They share knowledge. They share resources. Hey, I found somebody that gives really good insurance rates for a food product because not everybody understands food in the food industry. And so therefore you might get different quotes, but they really help each other, which is also just becomes, instead of just a venue for resources, it becomes a true family for the food industry. So being a part of that and helping to facilitate that is something that is super exciting. We're proud to be able to do it. And we hope that we can continue to inspire people in the future to come up with these new ideas that will be readily available for the consumers.
I'm glad you touched on that because that was going to be my next question. It's like, what's it mean to you to see this growth? Because I imagine you get to know a lot of these people and you see them come in and over a couple of years or so, you know, how they grow their business and grow as an individual. There's a sign above, I think, one of the kitchens says where ideas meet reality.
Yes, there is. Yes, there is.
And you really see that not only in the product, but again, in the personal and professional growth of these people as well. They have their dreams come into a reality.
We've had so many awesome scenarios where people have really come in and we're like, well, I don't know, my wife and I want to do this and we think we might have some potential. And then you watch them grow and you watch them, whether it's they graduate into their own facility, which is what Willie's did successfully and continues to expand and grow, or you decide that maybe the production isn't for you and you want to stick to the business side. So we help connect people to co-packers that'll actually make the product. So there's a level of growth there that happens. We've had some people that come in and they've made a product and then they ended up starting a food truck or a restaurant as a spinoff. And it was nothing they ever thought was going to happen, but things fell into place and the stars aligned and they were able to get connected to the right things at the right time to really move that direction. So it is fascinating on what path people might end up on. Yeah. And we can help them through that entire process and really see that build. And oh my goodness, the creativity. They come in with one item and all of a sudden you have 6 or 7 or 8 different flavors and different things that they're now presenting.
I noticed that with the mustard man. I saw him in one of your videos and he was talking about all the different flavors, which I didn't think you could do with mustard. I didn't know that many possibilities. But.
I have to say, I never thought there could be so many different types of barbecue sauces and salsa. Yeah. Those 2 things were like the prominent things that people came to, but every single one of them was different and they're unique and every story is different. And so therefore you can present that product to the marketplace very confidently because it is unlike anything else that's out there. So when you see some of the trends come on flavor profiles and our companies are able to really navigate that sometimes faster than a larger food company, it gives them the heads up or gives them the leg up to be able to really kind of be creative and be innovative. So seeing that happen, if you're having a rough day in our office, you just go down to the kitchen and you see who's cooking in there and you just see the energy and the excitement, and it makes everything all better.
You have shelves in the NOCK down there. I don't know if you still have them, but when I was there, it had all the products that were, well, not all of them, but a lot of the notable success stories. And a lot of them I'd already had, years before, like Angry Irishman or Willie's we touched on. Like I had no idea that this is where they went through. And now they're succeeding on levels they probably never could have even imagined and continuing to grow. And it's so amazing. So many of the local products around here that many of our listeners and, viewers might enjoy right now. That's where it's coming from. That's where it's starting, at least. That's where it's becoming a reality down there with you guys. So really inspiring.
And that is one of those things where if you go to our website and you look at our small business program, it'll have a listing, a lot of those companies, and you'll see their logos. And I do think you'd be surprised at how many of them, because we have some fabulous retailers that support local, and Churchill's is one of them. They have several of the companies that are coming out of our kitchen facility, and it really gives them that first step. And we appreciate that so much from them. But I imagine that people, if you looked at the website and you're like, I've tried that and it was awesome, go back and do it again, or find some that are on our website that you haven't experienced before, because I guarantee there's something different to offer out of all of them.
And it's really inspiring, again, to entrepreneurs out there who might be a little scared and don't know what to do and have an idea beyond just their family enjoying it. But it might really be a gold mine of an idea when they can see those businesses that they had no idea were starting down there. It's really inspiring for them to start and to, really make the initiative to become a business, full-fledged business.
That's why we do a lot of our networking opportunities, because
you're going right where I want to go. That's going to be my next question.
A lot of our people, they just get re-energized. If you get a little overwhelmed, I mean, it's tough work, and you get overwhelmed and you're like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done this, or I'm never going to get this to go the direction I thought it was going to go. But when you pull everybody together and they just kind of pump each other up, that's really what a true entrepreneurship kind of ecosystem needs, because you do have your good days and you have your difficult days. And that's what's been so interesting as well. And just being able to facilitate some of that, because I think it's truly helped people stay engaged and keep their businesses going. But it also gives that cushion for people that want to dabble in it or put their toe in it and feel like, oh, I can't do this. This is way too much. And then you hear someone's story. I'll never forget Larry Croy with Garlic Expressions came and spoke to our entrepreneurs. And he said, I started just with my son putting garlic into bottles, watching football on Sundays. And then you look at where his business is now. And having all of our entrepreneurs hear that story, suddenly they're all, oh, I can really do this. This has potential. So we just continue to try to make sure that they hear that type of thing and they understand that there's help and that there's resources and they're not in it alone. and really celebrate the fact that we have this. And we have so many creative people and creative recipes in this region that we want to keep building on.
Yeah, absolutely. So one more time for the NOCK, is that any different as far as websites to visit, or do you go to CIFT as well?
It's on our CIFT website, so we try to keep everything there so it's easy for people to find, and it's under our small business section. So certainly look at that. There's ways of engaging with us. Last year we had an open house where we had kind of a showing of all of our companies, and they gave samples out so people could buy from it. It was kind of like a market per se, but it was at our kitchen. So we want to keep doing those types of things to try to gain exposure for the companies and let consumers know that these are products that you can be proud of to purchase here from Toledo region.
Awesome. Love it. And what's the actual website, though? It's CIFT.org?
It's CIFTinnovation.org.
CIFTinnovation.org. CIFT innovation.org. Becca, thanks for coming out. I really appreciate this. I love having conversations about food, and so many times I've been to the NOCK, like I said, for various projects that we've collaborated on before. It's always been impressive and inspiring. I don't have any, desire to start a food-related business, but I could definitely see someone who does and network with you guys and just being like, all right, let's do it. This is the next step I want to take. It's really cool.
Yeah, I definitely don't have my own food
I just
product
like to
out
eat.
there.
Yeah.
I was just going to say the same thing. I'm perfectly happy with trying everything that comes through the door and giving my opinion on it. So it truly is a nice opportunity to engage in a different way, and hopefully that we can meet people wherever they are. If they're a startup and they want to just try to build their business, or if they're an existing company out there, like I said, we have so many strong food processors in the state that if we can help them continue to grow and evolve and improve their efficiencies, they might be able to continue to expand what they offer. And so it really is a nice progression and cycle for new opportunities.